DNF'd at 50 after a fall down a hill, but I got selected for the British team for World Trail Championships last year in Annecy and came in first British female, 26th overall. Unfortunately, just dropped out the last top 20 in the last 10 miles. I first placed female and the course record holder on the race to the Stones, among other things, and my best 100 mile time of 16 hours 13, which was the Autumn 100 last year, which was a bit of a surprise to me, to be honest, as well. So I think for about 6 months that was the fastest British female trail time until Sam Ammond did the Thames 100, the Centurion Thames 100 in April this year and did a 16 hour, so anyway, I had lots planned for this year. I had Trans-Gran Canaria in February or March time. I had Hope Highland Fling, the West Highland Way, Race to the Stones and Race to the King Double again, all these races planned and signed up for, and some other little things at home, some local half marathons and things. Half marathon, bit of a sprint, not a massive fan, but you know, if it's in the mud, it's all good fun. So that was my plan for 2016, and then to try and get selected to the World Trails again for September this year for the British team. And unfortunately, that was my last race on the 1st of January, because on the 30th of January, this happened. That's my patella, this one. I was out for a cycle because I couldn't run because my other knee was hurting a bit, and someone drove out in front of me and I went straight in her bonnet on my bike. My bike was written off. I smashed her windscreen with my head, so totally got my own back. Broke off my 2 gram racing bike and my right knee. So that left me in hospital with a broken knee, in floods of tears with my husband by my bedside while the surgeon told me, well, you're going to have an operation on it, you're not going to be running anytime soon. You might run again in the future. We'll see what the damage is like when we get in there, because that's pretty well smashed up. And so, yeah, everything you planned this year ain't going to happen now. And you're going to be on crutches for 6 weeks. Fine, okay. So, they put this in my knee for me, kindly. Now this x-ray is actually taken after I re-fractured it. So 4 weeks down the line I was on crutches. I'd gone back into work because I hate sitting still and doing nothing, as I think most ultra runners could appreciate. Not a breed to sit around and just twiddle our thumbs. Gone back into work, one of my crutches slipped, put all my weight through my leg, re-fractured it. So actually this is where it's pulled apart again. I've never experienced pain like this before in my life, not even towards the end of the UTMB. It was extraordinary. I was on a lot of opiates and things, and we were moving my legs sort of each at a time while it was fixed and extension. So yeah, I'm sure other people have broken bones as well. Up to that point, I could empathise as a doctor because I'm medically trained as well. But now I can really appreciate the pain people are going through. So I've learned that from this experience. So I had my second operation on the 1st of March. And that was then another 6 weeks on crutches and on weight bearing after that. So in total I was on crutches for 2.5 months, looking like this for most of it. Not a happy face. Very easy to get free drinks at the bar. So for the first 2 weeks I was fixing extension and plaster, and I couldn't do anything because it was painful even to move it from bed to chair and thing, trying to keep it elevated as much as possible. After 2 weeks, they put it in a Dondroid brace. I don't know if anyone else has experienced these before, but they're braces that are hinged, so you can set them, and then gradually, so the first 2 weeks it was fixed. The second 2 weeks, you can move it to 20 degrees, then to 40, and then to 90 gradually, just trying to build up that flexion again. They're bloody uncomfortable things. You have to wear them in bed at night. It's just... Jason moved out of the bedroom. It was like having a robot kick him in the night. And obviously still no running. The plus side of being on crutches is my upper body is now stacked. And I discovered pretty quickly that I was going to have to find things to occupy my time, because I was sitting around at home, couldn't drive, we live in the middle of nowhere, I was dependent on Jason for lifts or getting a taxi if I wanted to go out. So 2 things I needed to do were occupy time and find a way to exercise. I was determined. I mean, I had my fitness that I didn't want to lose. I wanted to maintain as much as I could. So I got a few bits of kit that I could use while I was exercising at home. I got a Swiss ball. I did bring it with me so I could show you some of the stuff, but I forgot to bring the bong for it. So, but basically, I challenge you to try it sometime when you're in the gym or at home if you've got any kit. Just take one leg off the floor and just imagine what you can still do if this leg is fixed and you can't put it down. There's actually an awful lot you can still do core-wise. So you can get down to the ground without putting your leg down. You don't have to touch the floor. Just head back up. And you can actually move around quite easily without putting any weight through that. So I could do a lot of planking on one leg, sit-ups. Jace helped me out with some sparring, so I got myself some pads and gloves. I could lie on my back on the floor, he'd stand over me with pads and I could do boxing. So you can really build up a sweat and make yourself out of breath and make your upper body exhausted quite a short space of time if you've got someone who's willing to help you out. So I think my core probably actually improved over that time. Obviously this leg was getting weaker. And I'll show you my muscle wastage. That's 10 weeks. That's just before I came off fractures. Unfortunately, I got a bit of stitch abscess at the top, which is what that is. But it's coming back slowly. The main one I've lost is my DMO, which is the one the physios are obsessed with, which is the one for teletracking. So basically, whenever you see me now and I'm standing around, I'm standing on one leg, just doing this. I think people think I'm desperate for the loo the whole time. So I'm just fidgeting. I'm just gradually trying to build up some strength in this leg. It's amazing how you can build rehab into every single second you've got when you're desperately trying to get this muscle back. I'll just stand there balancing on my leg the whole time. Even when I'm in work, I think my patients are a bit worried. I'm standing over them with a stethoscope listening and just balancing. So that's going to gradually come back. I also discovered that even when you're on crutches, it doesn't stop you going out for a walk. Because the other thing I'm sure you appreciate, everyone again being ultra runners, wanting to get outside. For the first 4 weeks probably, I just buried my head in my pillow, cried an awful lot, just refused to go outside. I shut the curtains so I couldn't see the sunshine. So I can't go out, can't run in it, can't do what I want to. Then decided, no, sod this isn't, you're not going to get better doing this. You're not going to, you need to have a positive mind frame to build up your body again and to get going. So, crutches complete with Cornish flag and handy notebook in case I need to write them down. I've got a cup holder that fits to them somewhere as well. Went out for a walk and that was the first time I went out for a walk. It was just amazing. So even when you're injured, even when you're not able to do the things you love in terms of the running, oh no, it's not that one, you can still go out and enjoy the outdoors that you love. You don't have to be running through it, even walking through it, or even just like limping through it on crutches. It was amazing, and I didn't realise it was going to be. So it's when you're injured, don't ignore the outdoors. Just make the most of it. Right. The other thing that I had to do to fill up my time was I couldn't go to work. So I was doing the exercises, but I needed to find something to fill up time. Sitting at a table, artwork became quite important to me. So I got my own special little box full of like paints and pens and pencils, and it just takes, I know someone was saying how like when you're exercising you're focusing, and you can, people say you write your PhD thesis when you're on your, when you're on an elliptical train. It was I just draw patterns. I'm bad at drawing, but just like drawing and doodling patterns, and it just allows your mind to focus in the similar way it would do when you're out running. And
are we going to see it?
No. No, you're welcome to come and have a go if you like. Look, I brought paper and pencils for everyone to do some doodling. I don't know how many of you know Rich Cranswick?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
I drew that with him in mind. That was for Rich. So yeah, that was the first thing I drew when I came out of hospital. Never knew I could draw like that. So you learn things about yourself when you're not. I mean, all my time beforehand was spent on running or working, so it has been interesting. Sorry, this is turning a bit rambly now. I've got a little. Yep. tick. I'll just show you one of the bits of kit that I was using to exercise at home. So this was bought for me by my mum. To kind of get well soon from me. This is a hand bike. And if you are so inclined, like me, and you're sitting at home, you're like, I burn off some calories, because the other thing for me is I really love food, and most of the interviews I've done before I injured myself when I was doing races, I mainly talk about cake and how much I liked eating. So this lets me burn off some calories while I'm sitting at the table doing nothing, and you basically just put it on the table and you just with your hands. Lovely, it's got a little dial there that tells you how many calories you're burning and how long you've done, and a resistance dial. So the other good thing about this is actually it works with your feet as well. So when I was trying to get back range of motion in my knee, but I didn't want to put too much pressure through it, I could use this to just gradually flex my knee up. Other things I did to try and carry on exercising were I set up my turbo trainer in my front room with my bike on it. You can cycle one-legged if you've got cleats on your bike. So just because you're on one leg doesn't stop you doing things. And the erg machine in the gym. If you put the bad leg on a towel and let it slide across the floor, you're not putting any weight through it, you can actually ride one-legged, which gives you really bad cramp in one butt cheek. But you're still exercising even though you're only using one leg. So there's an awful lot you can do, and it's amazing what you learn and how you adapt. I even let myself find pride in being able to get up and down the stairs. And sort of walking up and down hills on my crutches really works that calf muscle. So now I'm doing the rehab side of it. I was interested in John's talk when he was talking about how balance is important for maintaining good running form. And one of the things that I discovered when I started putting weight on this leg is how much balance is affected. I just always assumed it was sort of your headspace and where you are in space and time, but the muscles, all the muscles have gone from my glutes, my quads, my hamstring, my calf had all disappeared. I could stand on one leg for about 2 seconds before I'd fall over because I just had no muscle mass or tone in this leg. So gradually building that up with physio has been really interesting. I'm hoping with the core exercise that I did while I was non-weight bearing, my core will hopefully be a lot stronger than it was previously when I do finally get back to running. And hopefully that might make me less prone to injuries in the future. So hopefully there'll be some positives out of this as well. I've been blogging about my experience, and I think some of you possibly seen my blog, just like writing about what happened, every little thing. And people would look at what you've written online and give you positive feedback, which makes you feel like you're achieving something. Because when you do a race, you're like, I've won it, or I've done the time I wanted, or I've completed this. But suddenly I didn't have that anymore. So it's like I used a bed pan for the first time and I didn't get wheel over bed. And you're like, well done you! Yes, I've achieved something. It's kind of like winning a race. So every little thing that you feel proud of, and then people give you positive feedback. I just got so much support from the running community and from friends. It was wonderful to realise those people are out there for you even when you're not running. Which is why it's been lovely to be asked today to talk to people who have been out for a lovely run this morning, even though I can't join you running. I still feel like part of the community. It's lovely. Inspiration from other people. There's two big names to me that I've got. Guillaume Jornet. I've got his blog downloaded onto my phone because he fractured his patella at age 18, and he's got a piece in that about how he kind of ignored the physio advice or reinterpreted it. So they told him you go walking underwater, so he took water to mean, well, snow is water as well, I'll go skiing. And you're on an exercise bike in the gym, you might as well be on a bike outside, it's the same thing. So he went out cycling, and I've been using that to encourage myself. This is a person who has been in a similar place to me and is now a top level athlete, so it can be done. Just people will say it's going to take a long time, but in your head you think yes, but at the end of it there is that possibility. So remaining positive has just been really important, and using those people for inspiration just helps when you're feeling low. You just think, yeah, but they did it, that doesn't mean that I can't. Googling, on the other hand, has been a terribly bad idea, and I'm sure other people have found this as well. I've got an injury, I've got a bit of a niggle in my calf. What is it? It's probably your calf's going to fall off and your leg's going to drop off and you're never going to run again. That's what Google says. There were loads of people who blogged about or written about knee injuries, patella injuries, patella fractures, and most of it was how terrible it was, how painful it was, how they can't run, how they're never going to do it again. And it just drags you down. It's not worth it. It's much better to look at the people who have achieved. Think that you can do that too. You're a human body, they are too. Why can't you do it? There's a triathlete called Brian Keane who did his patella in 2010, and he's been selected for the Olympics in Rio for Ireland this year. So because an Olympic level athlete can do it, then I might not be quite there, but I'm a human being. Why can't I do it as well? I'm just going to see what else I can do. That's true, but I'm from Cornwall, so I've got that Celtic vein, So I think one of the other things that the surgeons told me when it happened, and other people said too, and I have found is it's painful. And they all say, well, you're going to get arthritis in it in the future. And in the same way, people have had, degenerative knee problems, you get pain in it. But then I've never done a 100-mile race where everything hasn't hurt. Or a marathon where you just think, oh, I hate this, everything hurts, I never want to do this again. You're used to pain when you're doing endurance running, it's just part of what it is, so it's going to be another pain. And we learn to control that and we learn to run with it. So why can't I learn to run with this pain the same way as I have the one in my hamstring that's been niggling me for 2 years that I've been ignoring and pretending isn't there? We all do it, so I think it's possible. Sorry. So I wanted to just show you a video in a sec. Unfortunately there's no sound on it, but you can get the gist of what has happened. This was taken on Thursday. Thursday was my 3-month follow-up when I asked my consultant the inevitable question, can I go for a run now please? And he said, don't do anything stupid for the next 2 months. So I'm not going to do anything stupid, I'm just going to do this.
Do you want sound, is it?
It's okay, it's just me rambling on, saying, oh my god, this feels weird. I was running like Bambi because I've got no control over this leg yet, so it's kind of like going off in one direction.
Is this your mile run?
Yeah.
Wow.
Apart from Nikki Griffin from Centurion, you guys are the first people to see this. Scattering sheep, scattering horses, I don't care. There were people having ice cream off to one side looking at me as I was holding up my camera and talking. What is that nutter doing?
When was this then?
This was Thursday.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, it's an injury. It's been a pretty severe one. My knee is still massively swollen, but...
What would you done if those cows charged?
Yeah, let's not go there.
Another mile.
yeah, I would have gone faster. So,
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's great, yeah.
I think that just the take-home message from being asked to come here today and talk is just injury is unpredictable and I suppose inevitable in some ways, and don't be put off by it. Just think about what else you can do. Have contingency plans, because I didn't have any and I had to build them up. It's good to think about what else you might do if you can't run. There's a whole world out there of different options, and don't take the negative comments, don't hold them in your head. Think about the positives instead and just realise that the body is an amazing thing. If you can run an ultramarathon, why can't you recover from an injury and run another ultramarathon? Are there any questions? Or would anyone like to go on my hand bike? No.
I think honestly, I haven't got a question, but I have a statement, which is that the reason why I really was desperate for you to come, but I knew that your injury meant that all sorts of mental states are happening, like day to day probably changes. So I didn't want to put any pressure on you to come, but I'm so pleased you have come, because I personally, and I'm sure a lot of people here, and I'm sure a lot of people around the community, think of you in the same way as Guillaume and Jean. I mean, it's like I know you're not yet there.
Yeah.
You may never be like Guillaume. Do you know what I mean? You're not. You were brilliant, and I still think you will be. And
Thank you.
so I think in 10 years' time, people will be talking about you in the same way. I really genuinely do.
Thank you very much.
How long did it take you to get out of the mindset that that's it, it's game over?
I haven't.
Or did you never get into that?
No, I haven't. I still have that. Look, yesterday I was just miserable. Part of the day I went for a cycle, and it was the first time I cycled 20 miles yesterday, and then towards the end of the day I was like, I'm miserable, I can't go for a run, I'm never going to run again, it hurts. And so I haven't.
You're
really.
standing, a lot of people initially after an accident like that probably think I'll never stand again.
Yeah, and so and it's helpful to have someone like Jason who objectively, he's been with me through the whole thing, it's my husband. He saw me at the very beginning where I was screaming in pain because I'd never experienced that kind of pain. And I was like, oh God, I can't run. And I was like, yeah, but look, 4 months ago you couldn't get out of bed because it was so painful. So it's helpful to have someone objective through the whole thing. I'm quite lucky with that, really. And I'd say the same thing to anyone. If there's someone close to you and you're having one of those down moments, and you've been through a rough time, someone back there to say, yeah, but look at where you were back then, and look how much you've done since. It's really
I'm sure there's
helpful.
enough people that keep pushing it. So.
Yeah. And that's what, the ultra community is amazing, but especially with the online aspect as well. There's been someone there for me at every single stage of this, offering me encouragement or a tear to shoulder to cry on, or just a kick up the backside.
But Sarah, did we say that, my friends said, wow, what kind of mindset you've got? And we said, well, you're an ultra runner. And we said, you should have one of those bands that says, what would an ultra runner do?
Yeah, we're all the same. We're all so bloody
You're
minded.
under pressure, you're in pain, get on and do it.
You do it, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
a lot to be said about that.
or if you've marshalled before, races before. I remember the first time I marshalled at 100 miler, seeing people at the 67 mark sitting down crying in tears, I can't go on. You give them a cup of tea, 5 minutes later, right, push them out the door, and they go on and they finish it. It's a similar kind of thing. It's that amazing mental attitude.
Is there anything that if you were to start from the beginning after the incident that you'd now do differently that you learned? That's the one thing that you would have changed?
My quad exercises. I should have been doing it before I started, I didn't realise. I think physio from the outset. So I was non-weight bearing and assumed that therefore I didn't need physio. But actually, I think physio guidance from the outset would have been helpful because I could have been doing isometric quads even though I was fixed in extension. So yeah, I think from the word go of when an accident happens, actually someone intelligent there telling you what you can still do and should be doing would have been quite helpful. I think I might not have suffered quite as much muscle wastage. So yeah.
What can you do moving forward? When can you run? Obviously, you've done your mile or your run. What's the kind of progression there?
Well, that mile was done in 2 halves. So I did half, stopped, did a half. Jason's wanted to take me out for a mile this evening. It's like a reward for good behaviour. I'm going to see how that goes. I've signed up for some swimming races. So my first competition that I've signed up for is a 5k swimming race in a couple of weeks' time. And that will be my first endurance thing that I've done since this happened. So if I can get to the end of that without drowning, because I've done quite a bit of swimming since I came out from my brace. Fantastic exercise, non-weight bearing. I mean, it's a dream for exercising, really, yeah. And then I'd love to think that I could maybe be doing in a year's time, be getting back up to ultra distance. That would be my aim, but it's.
So with the running, is it just slowly, weekly, just kind of a little bit, just build it up and
yeah. I'm considering trying to change my running form, especially having listened to that last talk, because I do all the things wrong that were explained in those slides, the overstriding, the landing on the heel, and I want to take as much pressure off this knee as possible, because I know I'm going to get arthritis in that joint, so I want to try and maintain it for as long as I can, so if I can take that pressure off. So I think looking at running form is going to be quite a focus for me over the next few months.
So everybody's got a backup man. What's your backup man?
Join a choir. No, I think probably swimming for the time being, because you can still get the competitive edge that you enjoy. A friend suggested to me that if you can't stand and you can't use your lower body, even for doing swimming, archery is a good option. I looked into that briefly. I didn't go back. I should have done actually. I think because that gets you outside and in a community. So I think any contingency plans that I develop will always involve getting out and being in a community of people. I don't want to. The artwork was great when I was stuck at home, but I think it's being in a network that is really helpful.
Thank you.